Global chart strategist Thomas Schroeder was one of the few analysts to correctly predict China's stock market rebound would be temporary. Now he says the rout is going to worsen. Thanks for joining us in the studio today. Sure. So you focus on cyclical relationship correlations as well as overlaps in asset classes. Tell me about the immediate inputs we need to consider when we're talking about the big picture in China.
Well, there's a lot of things I look at. The major variable is Australian dollar. Copper, if that goes over 2.4, that's a positive for China. The Australian dollar above 72 cents. These are some pivot levels that are very important. And I look at the relationship with the A shares in Hong Kong and emerging market FX and how that all ties into the China cycle.
You know, oil prices are, of course, a big part of the China narrative right now. So tell me about some of the knock-on effects that investors perhaps are not considering seriously enough.
Well, the most interesting thing about oil was that's the thing that really kicked off the emerging market FX move. Then that paralleled or dominoed into the other asset classes. And we also need China to rally to see a sustainable move in the S&P towards year-end, that type of cycle. But if I look at China itself and oil, and that really is demand quotient and commodity quotients, because we looked at things like BHP and the material sectors, that's all piggybacks on oil.
So you say the rout is going to worsen on the Shanghai Equity Index, right? So tell me about emerging markets. Are they ready?
First, I'm looking for Shanghai really to rally to maybe 3,500, but still longer term, I think it will come back off next year. Again, this is also a dollar cycle. It's very much a dollar story. The dollar is coming off right now, and it will rally back and come back towards the end of the year into 2016, and that will put a lot of pressure on the emerging market FX, as well as the yuan currency, and the devaluation of the yuan will play a major role in emerging market currencies.
Oh goodness, so we've been talking about the equities route. So the rebound, tell me, what is it really going to look like?
In the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Well, I think it's very staggered and staged. It'll be emerging market currencies have led this, the emerging markets, some China moves, and the commodities lift up. But by November, I think the dollar will start troughing and bottoming. It will strengthen, it'll lose ground more against the euro, but start to strengthen against emerging currencies. And that will be the transition, the overlap, the cycle overlap, which I'm looking for. I think the S&P can rally into January. You know, the tech is the strong horse to bet on in the S&P or the US equities. Europe still remains weak, but emerging markets will have this rally, but by November, it will start to lose steam, I think.